there and welcome to Road Safe. This video is all about how riders and car drivers can become more aware of each other, making roads a safer place to be. We'll be exploring general horse sense with Howard Stableford.
And the three most important items of clothing are a nice bright jacket like this.
Common road problems that can lead to accidents.
There are over 3,000 reported horse-related accidents a year.
Really?
And 50% of those are on country roads such as this.
An expert guide to towing.
But remember, if you want the horse box to turn to the left, you have to turn your wheel to the right.
And a few rules of the road for all riders.
If you're using hand signals, always make them clear and make them last for about 3 seconds.
It's the horses riding on the roads that I object to. Well, they're not doing any harm, are they?
I think sometimes people riding the horses aren't very considerate to the motorists.
I think motorists are quite aware of this now, better than they used to be.
Road riding does require a little extra preparation, but it is worth it. A good pre-ride routine can help to prevent accidents. Hello, Howard.
Hi, Claire.
Hi.
Now, you may know me from the Tomorrow's World programme, where I often had to get to grips with riding horses. And one crucial thing I learned was to run through a safety checklist before setting off to help prevent some of the simple things that can go wrong in difficult situations. It's good practice, and after a while, it happens completely automatically. Wear only hard-soled and heeled riding boots. Particularly if you're riding somebody else's horse, check that the stirrup irons are the correct size, a minimum of 6 millimetres either side of the ball of the foot. Out on the road, your horse may need some extra controlling, so a whip can be a useful backup to your leg aid. The most important thing to check is that the tack is in good condition and well fitted. The last thing you need is a snapped stirrup leather out on the road. Are you wearing a safety-approved helmet?
Of course. Look for the British Standard kite mark. Make sure it's not out of date, and if in any doubt, ask the British Horse Society. Now, I feel pretty conspicuous sitting on Rebel here, but it's surprising how fading light, dull weather, even shadows from hedges can greatly reduce the ability of a driver to see a horse and rider. Now, there's a growing number of Be Seen items available on the market, and this is what Horse Magazine and the BHS recommend, so I'm just off now to try out the most effective pieces.
Well, the all too often murky British weather is reason enough to stay extremely visible when you're out on the road. And this bright yellow fabric is what you need. Comes in two versions: fluorescent, which is good in the daytime but no good at night, and this silver reflective stuff, which is good in the day and the night. Reflects the daylight even on a day like this, and car headlamps too. And the three most important items of clothing are a nice bright jacket like this, some light gloves. Now, these aren't some small jockeys, they're actually called magic gloves, and you'll see why. They grow immensely like that. And some fluorescent bands for the horse, which fit just above the fetlock joints. So, the checklist goes: whip, tack, stirrups, helmet, boots, shoes, and visibility.
Doesn't look like much of an emergency kit, does it? But keep a hoof pick, some string, and some money in your pocket, because it could prove absolutely invaluable in an emergency.
Yes, and if you have a mobile phone, carry it with you, but keep it switched off. Several Horse Magazine readers who were involved in accidents found that by using their mobile, they got help to themselves much more quickly.
Once they start getting 2 or 3 out into the road, then I'd say no, it's too dangerous. That's unsafe, yeah.
I don't have a lot of involvement with horses, so I don't know how hard it is to control one.
So drivers need to be aware as well of the safety.
I have Lynn Church with me. Now, Lynn, you're part of the safety department within the British Horse Society, aren't you?
That's correct.
So, of course, you'll know the common road problems that face drivers and horse riders on the roads at the moment. But I have to say, I think one of the first questions people want to know is what on earth are horses doing on the road in the first place, Lynn?
Yes, and Claire, I can fully understand the frustration behind that question. But the simple fact is horses and riders have to use the road. We'd all prefer off-road riding, but we use the road to get from A to B, from bridleway to bridleway.
Because of course roads aren't exactly the safest place at the best of times, really, are they?
No, and with the weight of today's traffic, anyone who uses the road is at risk. Especially riders and their horses.
Are there lots of accidents involving horses then?
There are over 3,000 reported horse-related accidents a year.
Really?
And 50% of those are on country roads such as this.
I mean, certainly cyclists, you're always told never to cycle two abreast, but often you come across riders. There's two horses next to each other on a road. They're supposed to be single file. It's not safe. Why are they doing it?
Well, there's usually a very good reason for that, Claire. You might have a younger rider, a younger, more inexperienced horse, and therefore you need the older rider and the more experienced horse on the outside for everybody's safety.
So really, basically, we just need riders and car drivers to be more aware of each other's needs, don't we? But there's still such a huge area of misinterpretation going on and misunderstanding.
I fully agree. Let me give you a scenario. You've got a country road.
Yeah.
And you've got a rider who's doing everything they should be. They're observing, they're riding to the rules of the road. They're wearing their high visibility clothing. And you've got a car driver. He's equally doing everything that we want him to do. He's acknowledged that the horse is there. He's taken note of it. He's passing wide and slow. And as he passes her and goes back in again, he receives no apparent acknowledgement. He drives off muttering, "How arrogant."
And of course the trouble is then he's not going to pay the same courtesy to the next horse and rider he comes across.
But what the rider is seeing, she's looking ahead. She's seen something in the hedge beyond her and she knows that that's going to startle her horse. And even the most experienced rider will take a few seconds to regain control over a horse. They can be unpredictable animals. So it's not safe for her to lift her hand off the rein and thank the driver.
Of course, yeah.
She's doing something for his safety as well as hers. So you get the two people, the rider and the driver, passing each other, going their own separate ways, both thinking the worst.
So basically, Lynn, we need riders and drivers to be more aware of each other's needs.
I did used to ride years ago and I have been involved in a couple of incidents.
Slow down, all right out, so they go right round them instead of cutting close to them.
I think you should try and avoid it as far as possible, horses and roads, especially where there's a lot of fast traffic.
This is Derek Bell. You'll obviously know him as a Le Mans winner, but he's also a farmer. Now, Derek, what sort of things should we be aware of when we're actually towing?
Well, there are quite a few things actually, but one of the most important things are like wheel bearings, check them quite frequently, periodically check your tyre pressures and the brakes. And of course, when it comes to loading the horse box, make sure that the horse is closer to over the front axle to the front of the truck than it is to the rear, because you just don't want that situation where the back of the trailer is actually pushing and driving the car along.
Not a good idea. Now, a lot of people have a small problem with reversing. Who hasn't been in an embarrassing reversing situation like the one we saw earlier? Okay, Derek, is this a good time to tell you I haven't actually done this before?
It's not a good time at all. I won't get out, but we'll just persevere.
Perhaps you should.
We'll persevere. But before you start, which is just about what you do, have you fixed the trailer on?
No, you did.
Well, actually, I did, but you're in charge of the car, and you should always make sure that you're the one that fastens it, because if it actually have an incident, you're the one that's doing the driving. And I did have a situation one day, in fact, where I was merrily driving along with a horse box on the back one morning, and suddenly I noticed this lovely horse box overtaking me. The trouble was, it was mine. And it careered off the road without any damage, and of course there wasn't a horse in it. But you must always make sure that it's actually fastened.
Okay.
So make sure, and of course put the safety wire on. I did it for you, but you should do it because you're the driver.
Severely reprimanded.
And one other thing too,
yes.
I think is quite important, is to have somebody at the back that can actually help guide you backwards. If there's some poor sucker that would like to stand out in the pouring rain and help guide you back so you don't run into anybody or anything.
I think we need a few of them guiding us at this point, but never
We will
mind.
see.
Shall we begin?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Now remember, don't go backwards just yet, but remember when you go backwards, any adjustment you make should be very minor.
Right.
Just a small adjustment left, a small adjustment right. Don't sort of put a lot of lock on. As you see the horse box moving, hopefully the correct way, then you want to follow it or you want to put a bit more on. But remember, if you want the horse box to turn to the left, you have to turn your wheel to the right. But not too much.
Very straightforward.
Very straight, very simple. Completely opposite to normal.
Okay.
And then when you go left, of course, you have to turn the wheel the other opposite direction.
Okay, she says, right. So don't overcompensate too much.
Don't overcompensate, just a little bit of adjustment.
Little and often.
That's
Right, here we go then. Which way first?
Let's go to our left.
So I'm going to my right.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad you said
Also,
little.
you will watch the mirrors, won't you? Because that's where it's headed. And I don't want to stick it in that barn behind us.
So not a great view out of the wing mirror.
Not a good view at all, no.
Right, no, I've checked my mirrors as well. I've got a good view. They're all sorted. Very gingerly, she moves away.
Burning the clutch as she goes, of course, but no, you're doing a good job, actually.
Don't tell everybody that.
No, okay. Now put
No,
a
it
bit
doesn't
more.
look like it's
starting
doing
to.
a
It'll
lot.
start to go. Give it a bit more then until it's that. It'll go very quickly. Remember, you've got 4 big tyres on that trailer,
yes.
you see, and they take time for them to react. Once they start to go, here we go. Now take a little bit off. You've got a little bit too much.
It's sort of like, it's a very delayed reaction.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
But once it starts to
lovely.
go, you get yourself into a lot of trouble. Keep going. Very good. What we don't want is a jackknife, you see. We end up with you backing into the side of the horse box.
Oh my God! Well, ooh, now am I not going to do that now? Because I can see.
You're all right. Give it. Follow it a little bit more now. Put a little bit more left lock on, and you'll then follow the arc of it.
Oh, it's lovely. Yes.
Yeah, you're doing a very good job. I thought I might be able to criticise you, but I haven't been able to.
I hate to say, I think it's luck more than judgment, but never mind.
Okay, that'll do. That's that. We're going that way. You went pretty well that way. Let's go forward. Make sure you get it straight. If your trailer starts to go the wrong direction, when you're reversing, don't try and think, oh, I'll get out of this one. Go back, get it straight, and start again.
Safer to do.
It's safer and saves a lot of time and a lot of frustration.
It's not really a swift process.
No, it isn't. And there aren't really any marks. Don't run over everything. That's fine. And of course, there aren't any marks for the number of runs that you make at it or the number of stabs at it. So don't worry. Nobody's really watching you. Now then, let's try and get it going back straight all the way, and just balance it and go back across the yard backwards all the way.
Now it sounds easier, but I have a small feeling it will probably be the harder thing. I'm not very straight to start with, so I've got to go slightly this way to straighten, I think, anyway. Oh look, you're just smiling at me, so I'm not doing it the right way, I can tell! Oh no, look, that's better. Is that, yes, that's better.
That's right, well done.
Sometimes it is, you do have to almost do it wrong to realise what you've done.
Absolutely. You learn by your mistakes. That's very good. I think you could probably give it a little bit more right lock.
Right lock, so when he says right lock, he means right
That's
lock.
right, yes, I do.
Opposites.
There you go.
It's like driving a boat. Is it like
And you're very lucky with this trailer because it's actually got some arrows on it. A vertical arrow on the back there, and if you can keep them in your vision, you can see where you're going.
Then you're not going to lose too much over the size.
That was very good. Go on, you're doing really well.
Are you just saying that to me? Because
No, I'm not. I'm really quite impressed.
Thank you so much. Jolly good job there isn't a horse actually in there.
Well, I was a young
point.
farmer once, you realise, and I was a real star
You know what
at reversing.
You know what they say about young farmers?
They become old farmers quickly.
We won't go into that here.
Okay. You're doing well. Okay, that's it. Now let's go forward. Now go straight forward.
Okay.
You're very good with the clutch, I must admit. You're very gentle with it.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you thrash this on the road and just see how it feels, because it's a total different feeling.
Are we going on the road?
Now I'd like to see you do that in a nice paddock, which is all muddy. There's another 50 people there with horses and horse boxes, and they're watching you come in as the new girl.
No way! No way.
There you go. That was good.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Switch her off. That was very nice.
Lovely. No accidents there.
No. No blood, no sweat, no tears.
Okay, let's try it on the road.
There are a few things to remember before you set out with your horse box. Always check the vehicle manufacturer's recommended guidelines for towing. Remember to hitch the trailer correctly and ensure that the trailer and the cars are compatible, particularly when they're loaded. Connect the electrics and check that they work. Check your tyre pressures and that the brakes are working as well. Make sure that the horse is tied up comfortably. If there's only one horse, make sure it's tied to the outside offside of the trailer. You do have a horse on board and he doesn't know what you're doing, so when you accelerate, do it very gently. When you go round a corner, be careful. The horse may well move across the box at that point, unstabilising the trailer. Be very cautious under braking. He doesn't know you're braking, and he may well come forward when you brake. Remember, you are running slower than other vehicles, so why don't you get the extended mirrors that you can fit on the car, so you can see the traffic behind, and therefore you can be more courteous to the other traffic, pull over and signal for them to go by. And remember, if you're not used to driving with a trailer on the back, be very, very careful.
You see, trailers need not be a nightmare.
It doesn't worry me if you're a cautious driver.
Motorists, as soon as they see a horse on the road, I think they should give the horse the benefit of the doubt.
Kill your speed and give the horse plenty of room.
Horse riders have the same rights and responsibilities as other road users. Now with me here is WPC Sue Fowler from Sussex Police. Sue, we ought to know as horse riders how to manoeuvre and in any event where to be positioned on the road, shouldn't we? What sort of things should we be bearing in mind when we're actually out road riding?
The first thing is to always ride on the left-hand side of the road.
Right.
Ride straight and keep a lookout for traffic. If you're using hand signals, always make them clear and make them last for about 3 seconds.
Okay, I think perhaps you ought to just run the hand signals by me just to remind me. Okay.
Right, the first hand signal is the right hand turn signal.
Right.
What you need to do is look behind you to see what traffic is coming. Then extend your right hand out from the shoulder. That's right. Palm facing forwards.
Forwards.
And fingers together.
Right.
Okay, and you should hold that for about 3 seconds.
Nice and concise and definite.
That's right.
Excellent, okay.
Okay, there's the same signal for the left-hand turn using the left hand.
Fine.
We also have a slowing down signal, which we can give to drivers if we can see an obstacle up ahead and we would like them to slow down.
Right.
Okay, this signal, all you do is you extend your right arm out as before, but this time with the palm facing downwards.
Okay.
Okay, and you move that arm up and down in a gentle up and down motion. Okay, and that should signal to the driver behind for them to slow down.
Okay. They should be anyway,
They should be anyway.
Okay. Any other ones?
Right, and finally we have a stop signal. And we can use that one when we want the driver behind us to stop. And clearly if he proceeds, then there may be an accident ahead.
Okay.
So what you do is the first thing is you look round and get eye contact with the driver.
Right.
Then you raise your right hand with the palm facing towards the driver.
Sure, so you're obviously twisting round in the saddle to do this.
That's right, yeah.
It's a halt, don't you dare sort of signal.
That's right, yes.
Fine, brilliant, okay. So they're the hand signals. Now, even experienced riders, I know, have a tough time negotiating some junctions, don't they?
That's right, yes. The first one that people get wrong is the right-hand turn at a junction.
Really?
What they tend to do is actually go into the centre of the road like a bicyclist or a driver would do.
Yeah.
They find themselves in between two lanes of traffic, and if the horse gets frightened, they've got nowhere to go.
No, absolutely hemmed in, a bit like a sandwich.
That's right.
Now, I can see that that is not a good idea. So
No.
in that sort of situation, where should we be on the road?
You must stay to the left-hand side of the road,
Yeah.
give the clear right-hand turn signal, wait until the road is clear, and then make the right turn.
Right, now, any other junctions we should be discussing? I know
Yes.
not a very nice one. Roundabouts.
Yes, the roundabout. But the first advice I can give is if you can avoid a roundabout, then do so.
Take a completely different route.
That's right.
But if you have to go and use a roundabout, what do we have to do when we're on there?
What you must do is remain to the left-hand side of the road whilst negotiating the roundabout.
Right.
Keep a lookout for what traffic is doing behind you and ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
As you come up to an exit, if you don't want to take that exit, indicate right so you can tell the drivers that you're clearly proceeding round the roundabout. As you come to the exit you want, indicate left and take that exit.
I can see you'd have to be so aware because there's so much traffic entering, exiting, so it's a constant keep yourself alert and the right-hand signal to keep moving around as you
That's
would in a
right.
car, really.
Yes.
And exit, left-hand signal.
That's right.
Okay. Are all other junctions as complicated as that?
Junctions don't need to be complicated as long as you know the rules of the road. And the way to find out the rules of the road is to take the British Horse Society road safety test.
Okay.
Providing that you remain vigilant, you look out, you listen for the traffic, then you should remain safe on the roads.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Sue. Now, the BHS road safety test, the details of that are coming up at the end of this tape. It really is a good idea for you to take that test for your safety, your horse's safety, and of course the safety of all other road users as well. Thanks, Sue.
Thank you.
You never know what the horse is going to do.
I think in today's modern traffic conditions it is very difficult for the horse person.
Horses can panic quite easily. Sudden noises or a screeching of brakes or anything like that, and then it's a danger to the rider.
Some education of the actual drivers, some people who just go hurtling by, which causes trouble.
I hope you found this video helpful and interesting, and that it will in some way aid communication between drivers and riders to make the roads safer. Though the best way you as a rider can contribute is to take the BHS road safety test, the details of which are following shortly at the end of the tape. A big thank you to all of my guests. Bye-bye.